here. Before I go ahead and get started, I'm going to go ahead and share this out to a few places, including my community here on Facebook, which is called the AstroHIVE. If you are not a part of the AstroHIVE, what are you waiting for? You have to get in this group. I mean, of course, I'm a little partial to the group because it's my group, but it really is an awesome place to learn about all things astrology and to connect with like-minded women who love talking about all things astrology, of course, and spirituality as a whole, to be honest with you. It's a very non-judgmental place. And if you're looking for an awesome group to be a part of, I would suggest that you join us. Hey, Angela. I'm just sharing this out to a few places, of course. One more place, and we should be good to go. Yes, thank you so much. Please, please, please share. I would really appreciate it. Hey, Carrie Ann, are you on here? Okay, let me also go on my phone too, because for some reason I can see certain things on my phone that I can't see on the computer. I've got to go to a meeting, but I don't want to miss it. Okay, I won't be long. Hey, Brianna. All right, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Janelle, and I am the Queen Bee of Astrology. I'm also the founder of the AstroHIVE, and I help powerhouse business women and moguls in the making to quantum leap in life, love, and career. And I do so through my mogul magic sessions, which are a combination of astrological birth chart readings or natal chart readings, whichever term you prefer, as well as intuitive insight. So today I wanted to basically give you the rundown on all things Mars retrograde. I've been getting a lot of concern about, hey Kirsten, about all these planets that are going to be going in retrograde this summer. I've been mentioning a few of them on the daily cosmic downloads. Today I decided to not do that and focus on the Mars retrograde instead, because tomorrow is the full moon in Capricorn. So I'm going to save, like all the big energetic stuff for tomorrow. Hey, Jonay. So first things first, what is retrograde? So thank you, Angela. Angela says her readings are the bomb.com. They are, if I do say so myself. So if you haven't booked a reading with me yet, I would love a chance to work with you. Let me just go ahead and drop that link really early on, because I feel like I'm going to talk a lot and then I'm going to get distracted, and then I'll forget to let you know how we can work together. So first things first, what is retrograde? So first things first. Hey, Ashley. People tend to freak out when they hear about a retrograde, right? Mercury retrograde being the most popular one. I feel like even for people who don't believe in astrology, whenever their life is like falling apart, all of a sudden they want to know if Mercury's in retrograde, because, they're trying to figure out what's going on. But all planets retrograde, and there's always a planet in retrograde at any given time, honestly. So I know a lot of people freak out about Mercury retrograde and decide not to do certain things during that time, but honestly, you have to live your life regardless, because there is always a planet in retrograde, not just Mercury. A lot of the concern, though, is that this summer we're going to have 6 planets in retrograde at the same time. So a lot of people in my group have been like, what is this about? Is the world coming to an end? Should I do this right now? Should I do that right now? So what I'm going to do over the next few days is break down all the planets that are going to be retrograding this summer. That way you can actually understand what this means beyond like the zodiac memes and astrological memes that are floating around online. So first things first, what is a retrograde? So retrograde is basically a time period where certain planets look like they're orbiting backwards. So because it looks like it's orbiting backwards, that tends to cause a lot of concern. But hey, Jessica, but the whole thing is that it's actually like a really big optical illusion. The planet isn't actually moving backwards, but there are certain points of the year, or certain times rather, where it appears that way. Mars in particular only retrogrades every 26 months or so. So it's not a planet that retrogrades a lot. But it's orbiting the same way that it always does. It's just at certain points it looks like it's doing something a little strange, but it's really not. I promise. So usually when it comes to retrogrades, however, the collective theme is usually around reflection, finding closure. Hey, Candace, finding closure in some situations. And what also happens is a lot of old wounds come up. So, I know over the past few days in particular, a lot of your exes have been showing back up out of nowhere. The real challenge with all these planets retrograding at the same time, which is not like super common, but we're also in Cancer season. And Cancer season is just so emotional, right? So a lot of times we're not thinking, hey, Pamela, we're not thinking logically anyway. We're thinking from a very emotional place. So Cancer season combined with whatever planet is retrograding and what that brings, you will definitely feel it, especially if you are a person who is intuitive or spiritually connected and things like that, which most of you are, because if you weren't, you wouldn't be interested in any of this kind of stuff, right? Hey, Toy. So again, finding closure, reflecting, dealing with old wounds. When people come back into your life, it doesn't necessarily mean that they are there to stay forever. It's not a sign from the universe that you need to get back with your ex. A lot of times it's just, there might be some old wounds that needed to be cleared up. With Mars retrograding in particular, if there were any wounds that are still open, any loose ends that you haven't tied up over the past 2 years, a lot of that will come into play this summer. So if there are conversations that needs to be had, that will definitely come up. Anything really over the past 2 years that you've been ignoring, you're going to come face to face with that while Mars is in retrograde. So how can Mars retrograde affect you? So first things first, and for those of you who have had your chart readings with me, you may already be familiar with this stuff, but Mars itself represents our energy, our sexual desires, our assertiveness, things like that. So with Toy says, loving the hair and shoulders. Ow, thank you. I haven't been on camera in a while. I've been doing the just like creating an image, and then you can only hear my voice. So I'm excited to be back on camera today. So thanks for joining me. Hey, Danny. So with Mars in retrograde, Pamela, I would love to do your chart. I would absolutely love to do your chart. Danny and Toy are on here messing with me. So yes, so with our planet of energy and desire and assertiveness being in retrograde, it may leave you feeling very sluggish. Again, this particular retrograde started yesterday and is going to wrap up around August 27th. Hey, Brooke Sydney. So again, you may be feeling kind of sluggish. You may be feeling very impatient with yourself and with others because you are probably used to moving at a certain speed. And during this particular retrograde, it's just going to be more challenging to get that done. So you might be frustrated with yourself because you might have a project that you're like, okay, this is the date it needs to get done, and it's just not happening. Or you might be working with someone else and they are just moving like a turtle, and so you just end up getting frustrated with them too. Carrie Ann says, I'm curious, how will this play into launching or inviting people into our work, and how do we work with this energy? So basically, during Mars retrograde, you really want to extend some grace with yourself. The retrograde does not mean that you cannot launch anything new or that it won't be successful. It's just going to mean that it may be a little more challenging for you to stick to your timelines. Or if you're a person that's a very like go, 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 you might not feel like that this summer. You might just be, your energy is not going to be at an all-time high. So you just have to really, extend grace to yourself. Make sure that you're eating properly. Yesterday I shared some self-care tips to get through Cancer season. So a lot of that, will still be helpful, since most of this retrograde is going to happen during Cancer season anyway. So just make sure that you're eating really well, that you're working out, that you're, staying hydrated, and just doing things to keep your energy up, because the cosmic energy is going to be working against you in that kind of way. So you're just going to have to really tap into your own, mental toughness, call on your willpower, because there's going to be a lot of times during this retrograde where you are just not going to really want to move. And a lot of us have actually been feeling that over the past few days anyway, where we just haven't been wanting to take care of a lot of our responsibilities or adult. The reason why that is because with every single retrograde, there's also a shadow period before the actual retrograde starts and afterwards. So we've been in the shadow period for a few days already. So for those of you who have just been feeling really tired over the last few days, you haven't really been feeling motivated, it's because of the Mars retrograde shadow period, on top of the fact that we've been in a gibbous moon over the past few days, and the gibbous moon is the part of the lunar cycle that is basically sleepy time. So honestly, you guys, it's been hard to get shit done. If you've been going through your to-do list and getting everything done, kudos to you, because it has been a challenge. Brianna says, "Cha, I'm tired." Carrie Ann says, right, do the things to keep our energy as clear as possible. Yes, I always felt this push around retrogrades, and I hate push. Yeah, so around these times, especially with our planet of energy being affected by the retrograde, then yeah, we're going to have to move, we're just going to have to be really mindful of how we spend our time, make sure that we're not wasting energy, and then also feeling, and also feeding our bodies, fuel, putting things in our body that is going to help us in a positive way, because if we're eating poorly, that's really just going to slow us down anyway. If we're eating like a lot of sugars or a lot of junk food, I mean, those things make you tired anyway, and we don't need any extra help with that right now. Carrie Ann says, you're making me feel better about myself, struggling to not be pissed off at the lack of action. Yeah, it's okay. Like I said, you're really going to have to extend a lot of grace to yourself. But the good thing about this retrograde, and most retrogrades in general, is they really force us to pull back and reflect. And that then helps us to just do the things that are most important. Maybe not everything on our to-do list is that important. We don't have to do, 15 things for the day. Maybe we just have to pick our top 3 most important things and just do that every day. Just really make sure that we are spending our time wisely, because we don't have as much energy as we normally would. Jeree says, yes, I'm clearly sitting here on Facebook, not working, but learning. That's okay. You are learning. So it's, some part of being productive, right? So yeah, as I mentioned, wrapping up any loose ends that may still be out there from the past 2 years are going to really, really come into play. So Mars also governs our sex drive, right? So if you've had your chart reading with me, when we talk about Mars, a lot of times we talk about your desires and, you know, how that may show up for you in the bedroom, stuff like that. So during Mars retrograde, this is either going to work one of two ways, and there is no gray area in between. So it's either you are, that sluggishness that you're feeling is going to translate in you not wanting to be intimate, your libido being super low, or you're going to be on the opposite side where you just want to hump everything moving. Like there's no in between during Mars retrograde. So be careful. If you are person B who is going to feel like, you know, hypersexual during this time, just be very, very careful, because I mean, it could, you know, Carrie Ann says, hashtag all the humping. So I will say that if anyone does end up conceiving during this retrograde, you'll either have an Aries like me, a Taurus, or a Gemini. Fun fact. So if you do get caught out there this summer, that is likely, one of those three signs will be your child's sun sign. So yeah. So if you don't want a baby Aries or a baby Taurus or a baby Gemini, just, you know, be careful as you are out there feeling this Mars energy. Let me see if there's anything else I really wanted to talk to you about. For anyone who has done a reading with me, or if you already know, because some of you are, you know, astrology nerds like myself, if you know that you were born while Mars was retrograding, how that may show up for you is that you may have issues where your father is likely to not have been someone who accomplished a lot, or they were someone who struggled with willpower. So how that may translate for you if you were born when Mars was retrograding is that you yourself may have issues with setting goals and sticking to them. Danny says, carefully skipping summer activities. Listen, that's going to be hard because, you know, I feel like that's what people, especially when it gets like, you know, if you live like up north or something and now it's hot out, you know, and, you know, everyone's legs are out, shoulders are out. I don't know, Danny. It sounds like a little bit of a challenge, but like I said, you know, just, oh, here are the comments. Okay. I swear I am so challenged when it comes to this sometimes. So hang on, guys, let me catch up. So Ashley says, yeah, today I felt like I was just staring into space. I literally stared at my computer screen most of the day at work and pretended I was working. Ashley, you have some Aries energy too, right? Are you an Aries moon or Aries rising? I forget which one you are. I don't think you're Aries sun though. But that will definitely impact you directly because Aries is governed by Mars. So yeah, for us people who are Aries sun, moons, or risings, who are used to being very impulsive and moving really, really quick, this energy is extremely frustrating to us because we don't ask questions when we get ideas. We just go. And the energy right now is totally opposite of that. Oh, Alicia's here too. Hey, Alicia. Carrie Ann says, eating as you speak. Thank you so much for being here, Alicia. Talk about the X's popping up. I've heard about this a lot lately. So, so that's a combination of the retrograde and Cancer season. I actually made a post about this. Was it yesterday? And I had so many comments about X's popping up. because I was basically explaining to everyone that if it didn't start happening last week, to basically expect an X to pop up by July 22nd if they hadn't already. But for most of you, it's been happening. But yeah, that's really a combination of Cancer season and people just being in their feelings and being very emotional and thinking and acting from a more emotional space than a logical space. And then with all this retrograde energy coming, all this retrograde energy happening, that's also making you feel very nostalgic, and you're reflecting and all of that. And especially if you didn't have the closure that you really wanted around a particular relationship, then yeah, this is a time of year, or one of the times of the year, that people are going to start reaching out and trying to see what can happen. The thing is, though, for those of you who are aware of these energies, you understand what's going on. For the person who's not into astrology or any of the spiritual stuff, they don't know what's going on. They just know all of a sudden they're thinking about you. And to them, they translate that into, oh, maybe it's a sign that we need to get back together, or, oh my God, I've been thinking about this person for so long, let me reach out. But you know that this is just all for closure and for contrast, for you to see how far you've come. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's a sign for you to get back together. With your Mars your Mars is, child. Okay. So Jerice, you're definitely going to have to be careful out here in these streets this summer, because your planet of desire is in Scorpio, which is the most sexual zodiac. So you're going to be person B, who's going to be out here just getting it in all summer 18. Yeah. Your planet of desire is literally with your planet of just a lot of sex. Yeah. Yeah. So Danny said, carefully skipping summer activities. Carrie Ann says, that's me, frustrated Aries sun, Aquarius moon, Scorpio rising. Yeah, so I can see how that's frustrating for you. You'll probably be having a lot of sex too, Carrie Ann, this summer. Because you also have Scorpio energy. She said, thank God I can't have no more babies. Well, then, just have fun responsibly. Sounds like it's going to be a good summer to me. And you know what? That's also going to help you to release a lot of the frustration anyway. You know what I mean? Sex is a good thing. We're all grown out here. Karen says, well, what will I be doing? I don't know. You tell me, Kari. Mars is in your first house in Taurus. So, yeah, Alicia, you'll probably feel more sluggish for sure, because your first house is your house of self. And Taurus is a very grounded, slower type of energy anyway. So for example, I'm an Aries sun, but I'm a Taurus rising. So where my Aries sun wants to go, the Taurus part of me is what helps me to slow down a little bit. So yeah, you'll definitely be feeling that slower, sluggish energy this summer, Alicia. But just take your spiritual baths, meditate, all that. The frustration was more about lack of action, but hell, perhaps it will be elsewhere too. I don't think there'll be any lack of action in the bedroom, which will then help you, Carrie Ann, to better be able to deal with the frustration in your work life, where things might be slowing down a little bit. Then you can just release that frustration sexually. Boom. So at least you have another outlet to release your frustrations. Let me know if you guys have any well, there are no guys on here. Let me know if you ladies have any other questions about Mars retrograde. Also just going to go ahead and drop my link one more time. If you would like to work with me on a mogul magic session, which, as I mentioned earlier, it's a combination of a your natal chart reading or your astrological chart reading combined with intuitive insight as well. So if you're a powerhouse woman or a mogul in the making, you're a businesswoman who is looking to basically break, the glass ceiling in your own life, I can absolutely help you to do that. Stephanie's here. Stephanie, you missed all the sex talk. Carrie Ann says, putting my husband on notice then, more action required to support me during this retrograde. Yes, having more sex, Carrie Ann, is going to help you to balance out the frustration that you're feeling with work stuff not moving as quickly as it normally does. Yeah, so basically let him know that he has a job to do. This should be interesting. Stephanie says, dang, I got to catch the replay. Yeah, so we're talking about Mars and how it's retrograding this summer and all the ways that it may affect us. But yeah, but let's just, anyone who has their, let's just pray for Jerice. We got to give her a special prayer because her Mars is in Scorpio. So we just have to make sure that she stays centered this summer because she's going to have a busy summer. She's going to have a busy summer. She's going to have a busy summer. Yeah, Lakeisha says, oh, I'm screwed. Yeah, like I said, depending on your chart and depending on where certain placements are, it's either you're just not going to want to have any sex at all, or you're just literally just going to be jumping on people. I'm so married, and he says, oh my God, he's a Scorpio too? Well, he's a Scorpio sun. Okay. All right, well, let's hope that his chart lends itself to being able to keep up with you in that way. I don't feel like you'll have a problem because he's a Scorpio. I don't know when a Scorpio has ever turned down sex, ever. So, yeah. Calvin's here. Stephanie says, yeah, I'm not thinking about sex right now at all. Yeah, so it's, like I said, it's one or two. There really is no gray area when it comes to sex this summer. We've been talking about so many other things, but the sex part is what's like what we've been talking about for the longest. So just to recap, we are in Mars retrograde until August 27th. Mars governs our desires, our energy, our assertiveness. So like I said, you may be feeling more sluggish than usual over these next few months. You may even have some like anger issues as well, depending on where Mars is in your chart. But for the most part, there's just going to be a lot of impatience, and you really need to wrap up any loose ends that you've just left out there over the past 2 years, especially when it comes to these romantic relationships and stuff like that. So if you don't reach out to your ex, they'll probably reach out to you. Just, wrap it up. It's not a sign from Jesus that you guys need to get back together. It's not a sign that this is your soulmate. It's not a sign that this is your twin flame. Please live your life. Get the closure you need. Wrap it up. Keep it pushing. Stephanie says, I've turned that sex energy into making money for whatever reason. I don't focus on both at the same time. Hey, I mean, that's, and the thing is, all of that we can always see in our charts, right? So Yeah, some people can't focus on both. Carrie Ann is going to need to have a lot of sex this summer because she's going to be frustrated about the fact that she's going to be feeling slow when it comes to work. So, you know, everyone is different in how this may show up. Calvin says, Queen is slaying this look today. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Calvin says, so pretty much stay away from all Aries this summer. Yeah, Aries people, Aries, sun, moons, and risings, we are definitely going to be, we're going to definitely feel a lot of frustration and anger because we won't be able to move at the pace that we normally do. So yeah, watch out for me, watch out for Calvin. Calvin says, Jesus don't give a shit about your play. Oh my God. Okay, let me calm down. Calvin, you're making me cry. Whew. Okay. Pull it back together. Lord. Okay. Let me make sure I'm not sending comments on my phone. I am like really crying right now. All right, calm down. Okay. So Calvin is pointing out to Stephanie that she can do sex magic. Oh, Calvin. Oh my God. Hang on. You guys, I'm like really crying and now my makeup is getting into my eyes and my eyes are burning. I'm going to have to ban Calvin for like like a week. Oh, that was too much. Okay. Christina says, I can't even see. Christina says, I decided to journal all my shit beforehand, and then it was like butter on popcorn. Good. I'm going to have to get off here, you guys. Like, I think I'm done. Like, Calvin just took me all the way down, and I don't have any tissue or anything. All right, I'm not reading any more of Calvin's comments. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to skip Calvin. I'm not reading anything else from him. What is wrong with Aries? And why do we need to not be around people? Because, Carrie Ann, we're used to moving really fast. And because we won't be able to move as quickly as we normally do, we're going to be frustrated. And you know, us Aries, like we have a little bit of a temper sometimes. So, you know, when things don't move the way that we want it to move, what is happening? Then, you know, we tend to lash out a little bit. So yeah, so just be mindful of that famous Aries temper this summer. Because Mercury is a planet of communication and Aries are talkers. Yes. Hey, Joycelyn. Stephanie says, I'm all about sex magic, but when I'm focused on money, I literally don't even desire it. Yes, that impatience. Ashley says, yeah, this slow shit is not the business. We're not used to moving slow at all. And over the past few days, while we've been in the shadow period, like, you guys, I've been working on the AstroHIVE site for way too long. Stephanie says, hey, we're crazy. I've been working on it for way too long. I don't know what's going on. Like, I can have a website up in a day, and I have not been able to get this website up. And I've been working on it for at least 4 days. But it's like the patience that I usually have to like code things and, you know, do all of that. It's I'm like, what is happening here? Or I just feel really tired and I'm like, you know what? I got to take a nap or I'm going to break something. Colleen says, so my birthday is right in there, August 26th. How does this affect me? Well, I would have to see your chart in its entirety, Colleen, but you'll definitely, or more than likely, just, you know, feel the collective energy of just feeling more sluggish than usual, and being impatient and just needing to wrap up anything over the past 2 years that's just kind of been lingering out there in terms of relationships, whether they're romantic relationships or family, friends, anything like that. If you've had a friend and you guys have been in like a weird place over the past few years, more than likely that's going to get settled while this retrograde is happening. Calvin says we are crazy, but we own that. Carrie Ann says, does this mean I need to go deeper with my communication versus broad, if that makes sense? I mean, yeah, I think we should always be doing that. You know, I feel like we should always be striving to be better communicators anyway. Like Carrie Ann, I would tell your husband about about what he's about to experience this summer. I would definitely let him know. I'm sure he won't complain about it, but definitely communicate that so he doesn't think that you're like a wild, crazy person all of a sudden, you know, attacking him out of nowhere. So Stephanie says, girl, you've been working on that site so long, I thought it was almost done. It is almost done. It's basically finished, but for some reason, you know, like when you go in WordPress and you create pages, for some reason, although I'm publishing the pages, they're not showing up. But the website itself is actually done. But yeah, but again, that's just, you know, that Mars retrograde energy messing with me. I don't know. But I think that's it for today. You have a week to get this site done. Prophet and Medium have spoken. It's basically done. I can get it done. If I can just fix that one problem, then I'll let it go live, and I can always tweak it, you know, as I go along. Carrie Ann says, you're wonderful. I'll let him know. Preemptive strikes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm very excited to hear about your summers. Like I said, for those of you who are in group B, who are going to be like, your libido is going to skyrocket this summer based on where your Mars is in your chart. Like I said, for those of you who may have, you know, I don't want to say accident, but in the event that you do conceive, for anyone watching the replay or anyone on here, if you do conceive during this time, you will have a baby Aries, like me and Calvin and Carrie Ann, or you'll have a Taurus or a Gemini. So, you know, if there are any slip-ups, you'll be having one of those little babies in the spring. All right, so I think that's it for today. Doesn't look like I have any more questions. Let me know if you do. If not, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. But this was a lot of fun. I really, yes, you can name your baby after me. That would be awesome. The only other Janelles I know who spell their names like mine are Jamaican. So I would love to have like another one who is, you know, of a different background. That would be fun. Calvin says, really think about this before you have an Aries baby. You have been warned. That's funny. Hey, Zarina. Zarina's an Aries too, right? Yeah, Zarina's an Aries too. Yeah, Aries gang. It's a lot of us out here, but we're awesome though. I mean, we're a little bit crazy, but the awesomeness, I feel like, outweighs the crazy part. Yeah, we are awesome. We really are. All right, so it doesn't look like I have any more questions for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was so much fun. I laughed until I cried today. Calvin. Okay, but honestly, although Calvin's comment was really, really funny, this is a conversation that really needs to be had. Why am I laughing again? This is a conversation that really needs to be had about these soulmates and this twin flame shit. Like, we really need to stop putting so much emphasis on these titles. You know what I mean? Like, just live your life. And, you know, everyone is a lesson in some way, shape, or form. You can have multiple soulmates throughout the course of your life. Not all soulmates are romantic soulmates. So, you know, you connect with who you connect with, and just live your life. Like, you know, don't obsess over the soulmate in the twin flame titles, but I'm sure we'll do a live stream on that topic for sure. I was very serious about that twin flame. People get desperate, go have sex and have fun, call it a day. Boom. The prophet has spoken. And what he said earlier, Jesus doesn't give a shit about your twin flame. Listen. Oh, that needs to be Calvin, we got to talk about that. We might need to put that on some merchandise because that shit was funny. I'm trying for it not to take me down all over again because I'm just recovering from that laughing attack. But that is really funny. But it is really serious as well. Like, people really do get so obsessed with twin flames and soulmates. But we'll talk about that a different day. But again, thank you so much for hanging out with me on today's live stream. I hope you learned a lot about Mars retrograde and how it's going to affect you. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about the full moon in Capricorn. And I'm going to continue to update you over the next few days about the rest of the planets that will be retrograding this summer as well. Calvin says, God is in love with all of y'all and isn't dedicated to just you. God is polyamorous. Don't get Calvin started. All right, you guys. And of course, if you would like to have your one-on-one time with me, you can book your Mogul magic session. Let me drop the link one more time. Now I can't spell because I'm really trying not to laugh at Calvin again. But yes, book your time with me. I would love to do a one-on-one session with you so that we can go through your full astrological chart. And I can also provide you with some intuitive insight that is really going to help you to just really make some breakthroughs in so many different areas of your life, including career, your love life, parenting, honestly, everything. Calvin says, get a Mogul session. It is so good. Yes, Calvin has had a session with me as well. He had a bit of a moment during his session, but that's what I'm here for. They don't call me the astrological wig snatcher for nothing. So get your life, book a session. If you have any questions about it, we can absolutely talk about that on this thread, or you can send me a private message. But have a great day, you all. The lesson is so valuable. I definitely suggest everyone gets one. Thank you, Stephanie. All right, you all, have a great rest of your day. I'm actually going to go prepare for one of my sessions that I'm having shortly. So I'm going to go do that. Rest of you all have a good day. And if you have any questions, just jump back in. Calvin says, I did have a moment. The astrological assassin is more like it. I like that too. Yeah, I like that too. The astrological assassin. I really like that. All right. Thank you all. Have a great day.